Whoa, my God! Thank you so much for joining .NET Conf Student Zone. I'm here with my friend Hemna. So, okay, what is going on? So we have the .NET bot. The .NET bot is exploring the deep ocean, finding new friends for .NET. But while we do that, we are here to help like folks that want to know more about .NET and want to introduce about .NET, can want to understand what it's capable of, and we're so glad to talk to you about it. But I introduced myself a little bit poorly, a little bit. I'm Pablo Lopez. I'm a cloud advocate at Microsoft, and I'm really happy to be here. And as said, my friend Hannah is here as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Hamna Khalid and I'm a Gold Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and I have been serving this Microsoft community for the last 2 years and today I'm with Pablo and I have joined this session .NET Conference Student Zone and you'll be having some amazing stuff. You'll be seeing some amazing stuff in this series.
Exactly. You're going to have sessions on AI, Aspire, CLI, Copilot, and some help with like the Microsoft student communities as well to know what can we do with that and much, much more. So be aware of it. And while we explore like this tropical theme in .NET Conf Student Zone, let's go to our first talk.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacey Hafner, and with me is Cial, and we're excited to show you why .NET is for everyone and how easy it is to start building with it. But before we jump into how awesome .NET is, I thought that I might tell you a little bit about what .NET has meant to my family and me. Now, I started to teach myself to program when I was really young. I was probably about 10 or so. And I was fortunate enough to have a family around me to help me learn. My dad spent his whole career doing enterprise desktop development in .NET, and now that he's retired, he uses .NET to build open source software for 3D printers. My older brother has built, honestly, far too many things to name. But for the last decade or so, he's worked on open source retro gaming engine that's based off of .NET. And he's also kind of more recently been dabbling with some AI stuff. And then my younger brother followed in my dad's footsteps, doing enterprise desktop development before he eventually chose to go into the .NET web dev path. And me? Well, I'm kind of like my older brother. I've built a bit of everything over the years, but eventually I found game development, which is where I spend most of my time these days. Now, unfortunately, we are all spread across 3 different countries and time zones. But we still talk every single day. We trade ideas, we share code, we help each other when we get stuck. And we can do this easily because at the center of everything that we're all building is .NET. It doesn't matter that my dad's off building 3D printing tools, which, thank you, Dad, or that I'm developing games. So today, Cial and I want to show you what this looks like in practice, why .NET really is for everyone, and how easy it is to get started. So I'm going to hand things over to Cial, who's going to tell us a little bit about himself and what .NET is.
Hello, everybody. I'm Siad Hande, and I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree. And my interest lies in cloud and data science, and I'm also Microsoft Student Ambassador. So let's get started with what .NET actually is. So .NET, what is it? At its core, .NET is a free and open source development platform, which was created by Microsoft and supported by an incredible global community of developers. It was designed to let you build anything. You just name it: website, mobile applications, desktop softwares, games, IoT devices, cloud services, and even the AI tools, all with one consistent foundation. And it's uh, cross completely cross platform. That means .NET runs on Windows machine, Mac OS, and Linux. Not and Linux, like many flavors. You just name it: Fedora, RHEL 9, Ubuntu, whatever. Today, .NET is used by millions of developers worldwide. It powers everything from Azure Cloud Services to enterprise applications, open source libraries, and games. One of my favorite part about it is .NET is fully open source. You can go to github.com/.NET right now, and you can just see their source code for their runtime, the compilers, then their libraries that powers the platform. You can even contribute to it. It's an open, completely open. That openness, that accessibility, and that flexibility, that's what makes it awesome. And .NET is so powerful as compared to other frameworks. It gives developer the freedom to create, learn, and share no matter what kind of project they are passionate about.
Awesome. And another thing that I love is how easy it is to get started. Let me show you. So right now I have PowerShell open and I am going to use Windows built-in package manager, which is called winget, to install .NET. It's super easy. I just type winget install Microsoft .NET SDK and we're going to do 9. Oops. Now, so if I spell winget correctly, and while that's going, because it is going to take a couple minutes to download and install everything, I am going to hand it over to Sial, who's going to show us how we can do this on Linux.
So, as Stacy has shown, like how you can install .NET on Windows, I'll just tell you how you can do it on Linux, especially on Ubuntu. So, on Ubuntu, what we can do is just head over to any browser and search .NET and Ubuntu and enter, and then yes, this second one, and yeah, you're good to go. For this demo, I will be using Ubuntu as my distribution, which I would be using in WSL actually. So instead of WSL, you can use native Ubuntu also, or you can create your virtual machine and you can use that. But I would be using WSL. So just to let you know, guys, WSL what it is a Windows subsystem for Linux. So I will just tell you LSB underscore release hyphen a. So yeah, you can see this distribution is Ubuntu and my the version is 24.04. So I'll just go to this website where it is shown how you can install Ubuntu, how you can install .NET for your Ubuntu. I will select 24.04, and .NET I would be using .NET 8. Like the latest one is .NET 9, which is also stable version, but we would be using .NET 8 because I have already installed it. And you can also go for .NET 6th version, but it is no longer supported, so it is better to use 8 or 9. So yeah, these are few commands, 2 to 3 commands which we need to install, .NET. So we'll just copy this first command and paste it. Just asking for password. Okay. Yeah. So what this sudo apt get update command does is it manually install all the latest packages. So like in the back of the head, you just know ki you are using the latest version of Ubuntu. I have already done this. It is taking time, I guess. I'll just cancel this process. So the next command is sudo apt get install -y .NET SDK 8.0. So what this command will do is it will just install the software development kit of .NET, like whatever tools or software you need to build your .NET application. I'll just put enter. I have already installed this also because it takes like more time. So it is showing done, 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 done. So yeah, this was it. And just to check if we have already installed .NET or not, you just type .NET hyphen version, and yeah, we can see that the 8.0.121 version is already installed. Over to you, Stacy, now.
Awesome. Thank you. One thing I will call out is the .NET documentation is also open source and incredibly robust. So as you start to learn with it, you can pretty much find answers to anything you need within it. Now, it does look like the installation is done. So we have just installed the full .NET SDK, which includes everything that you need. It's got the runtime, the compilers, and the CLI tools. And we can actually check what's on our machine by calling .NET info. And if I scroll up, you can see here there's actually 3 .NET SDKs. Number 9 is the one that we just installed, and I already had this my work machine, so I already had 8 and 10 installed on it. So what's really, really cool too with this is that .NET comes with loads of templates, and you can see all of these by typing .NET new list. Like I said, it's a pretty lengthy list. Now, we're not gonna do all of these today, but we're gonna look through some of the more kind of common ones that people work with. And to start, we totally have to do the classic hello world command line application. So let's make that now. You can do it super easily by going to our calling .NET new console, and then we'll do hello world. And let's actually call this console. Now, before I hit enter, let's take a look at what these commands are doing. .NET New is how you create a new project from the template. Console is the type of project that we want to create. And then N Hello World Console is us naming what our project is going to be called. So we'll hit enter. And now we can see that the project folder was actually created. So if I check the directory, I can see Hello World Console. So if I cd into that, check the directory again, there's several files in here. So it created the obj directory or object directory, but the most interesting one is this program.cs. This is what's going to run when we call .NET run. And this is going to compile everything behind the scenes and then, of course, run our project. You know what? Let's make this actually, before we do it, let's make this window bigger so it's easier to see. So hopefully that's a little bit easier. And we can see, actually, I'm going to zoom in even more. We can see that it ran and it called Hello World, which is great. Now, if we want to make changes to this, we can do it super easily. I have .NET, or Visual Studio Code installed. And so I can call that with code command. And then if I put a period, it's going to tell VS Code to open in this folder. We'll hit enter. And let's pull this up. We can see here, let's actually make this bigger too. And we can see now that we have that program.cs file, which has hello world. So let's change this. Say hello world from the .NET conference. And we'll hit save. Minimize this, come back here. All right, so from here, let's run it again. So we'll go .NET run. And we should see that pop up. There we go. Hello world from the .NET conference. Okay, so console apps are great. They definitely have their place, but let's do something a little more visual. How about a web app using Blazor on Linux? So y'all, why don't you show how we can do that?
Yeah, sure. So let's just hop back into Linux. Uh, so what we'll be doing is we'll just heading back to our WSL. We'll be using Blazor. So what Blazor is actually? So Blazor is a part of ASP.NET Core, and it lets you build interactive web apps using C# instead of JavaScript. So what you can do is you can just run your C# code directly into your browser with WebAssembly, and or also you can just go to your server and update the page in real time, just like live server we do with our HTML, CSS, JavaScript thing. So we can use both using the same component model. So what we'll be doing is so like there is a command. I will just copy paste it. I have already here .NET .NET new Blazor -n and Blazor demo. I'll just paste it. What this command does is .NET new. This gives command ki like take the Blazor model and create a new application named as Blazor demo. So I'll just hit enter. Uh, I guess this I have already created by the name of Blazor demo. So I'll just use Blazor demo 2, and yeah, I guess it is processing. It will take some time, and yeah, as you can see, we have successfully created this. So now just to run this .NET application, uh, we just head over to the um, directory which is Blazor Blazor demo 2, and now we are into the directory where we have imported all the demo website from the Blazor uh, module. And We are here and just type .NET run, and it will take some time. It will build, and it will just show. So like we can see it is listening on port number 5296. Mostly it uses 5005 or 5127, but it is showing this time 5296. I'll just copy this URL and I'll just paste it into my browser, and here you go. You can see your web .NET website, and it is working. Weather counter also with me. So yeah, this was all about building a .NET website using Blazor. Over to you, Stacy.
All right, so now that we've seen console and a website, let's get started making a cross-platform mobile app using .NET MAUI. Now, MAUI is great because it lets you build native apps for iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows from a single language code base. But we're not going to do this in the console. We're actually going to use Visual Studio Code for this. So, actually, I think I should still have it open. Yep. Let's close down this folder. And in order to do this, you actually need to have a couple of extensions. The first extension that you need to have is the C# Dev Kit, which for me is already installed. Now, this extension provides the tools needed in Visual Studio Code to edit, build, debug, and manage C# projects efficiently. But the second one that we need is the .NET MAUI extension. And installing is easy. Just click the button. Now, this extension gives VS Code the tools to build, run, and develop .NET MAUI apps directly from the editor. This includes things like having the device emulation and the templates, because as I mentioned, you're building cross-platform. Now, once we've got the extension installed, we can pull up the VS Code command palette by doing Control-Shift-P. And in my case, I already have .NET at the top because I've recently used it, but you can search for .NET and look for .NET New Project. And this is going to go and discover project templates, kind of just what we saw inside of the console, except for now we have MAUI templates, which we didn't have before. And if we filter on MAUI, you can see there's 5 templates to choose from. We're going to go with the Blazor hybrid app, and I'll explain why in a minute. But for now, let's just get this created. And I'll put this in the demo folder. And then I'm going to call this Hello World MAUI. We'll keep the same solution and create the project. This should be pretty fast. I can get rid of that. Now, let's just run it. I'm not going to make any changes. We'll just get this going. So if we go to the Run and Debug tab in VS Code, we can hit Run and Debug. We'll pick C#. This can sometimes take a moment. All right, now what we can do is pick what we want to launch this as. And as I mentioned, you're building for lots of cross-platform apps. So we could run this in an emulator for Android or iOS. Instead, we're just going to stick with Windows. We're going to keep it simple. So we'll pick Windows. We'll go with local machine. And then while this is going, I've noticed with the font, this happens sometimes when I'm zoomed in, just zooming in and out, or zoomed in and sharing my screen, I should say. So as you saw before, there's a lot of different templates. And we went with the .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app because that gives you the best of both worlds. You can build native mobile and desktop apps with MAUI while still reusing your existing Blazor web UI components inside of them. All right, perfect. So the build is done. And we should see this launch any moment now. Wonderful. So this looks very similar to the Blazor app that we just saw, including having a counter and the weather. All right, so again, we've just seen console, website, and now native cross-platform applications. Let's switch gears a bit and talk about games. So .NET is used in several frameworks and engines, and 3 of the most common ones are Godot, Unity, and Monogame. We're going to only look at 2 of these today, which are Unity and Godot. So let's start with Unity. I'm going to switch here. Okay, so Unity installs with the Unity Hub, which you can get from the unity3d.com website. And the hub is actually what you use to manage the installs of the engines, and then also where you go to create and launch your existing projects. So creating a new project is pretty easy. Just pick new project. And Unity comes with, I guess the best way to call it would be a series of templates. So there's the core, I'm going to call them templates. Oh, no, they do call them templates. There's the core templates, which has universal 2D, 3D, a whole set of stuff. This is basically tailors your base project to whatever it is that you're trying to do. For example, universal 3D is really good for mobile apps or kind of low fidelity or graphic application for games. There's also a sample tab, which has projects that you can deconstruct, and a learning tab, which has projects that then you can go to the website and follow along on to learn. Now, when you open up a project for the first time, depending on how powerful your machine is, really kind of directly correlates to how quickly your project can open. In my case, my machine is not very powerful, so it took about 5 minutes for me to open this project, which means I have already created the project, and I'm not going to have you guys kind of watch me open this for 5 minutes. So we're going to just switch over to it. And I went with the Universal 3D project. Now, this is what you start with. It's basically just kind of an empty project that has certain projects and packages and configurations set up. Now, without going too in depth, games have what's known as a gameplay loop that runs on objects that are loaded in an active scene. This means that we need to create a game object and then add a script to something that lives in that scene so that the behavior will actually run. And again, doing that's pretty easy. We can just right click on this is the scene hierarchy over here. We can right click and make an empty game object, and we'll call this console log. And then within console log, we can add a component. This is basically what lives and runs on a game object. We can add a new script component. And we'll call this console writer. And we'll save that. And then if we open it up, make this full screen, zoom in a bit so you can see. This comes with a mono behavior, and more interesting is the method called start. What will happen is when a game object lives in a scene, start runs one time. So it's basically, hey, I exist, run my code. So what we can do is use this as the place to put our hello world. And within Unity, to write to the console, it's debug.log, and we'll say hello worlds. Oops. And save. Oh, I dropped my. There we go. All right, if we pop back over to Unity, it's going to do a quick reload of the scripts. All right, so the scripts just finished loading. Now we can push play. All right. And we can see down below that we have printed Hello World. And that's it. That's how quick and easy you can get set up making games inside of Unity. Let's look at the last engine, which is Godot. All right. So Godot is really cool because it's an engine that is completely open source. But I will admit it does require a little bit more setup process to get going. And the good news is I've just recorded a new series around getting started with Godot and C# that walks through the installation process. And it actually teaches how to use Godot and make games with C#. So we'll put that down in the description and you can follow along with that on getting Godot set up. Now, that being said, Godot does come with a project manager, which is where you manage your projects, so create and launch your projects. This does not, unlike Unity, it's not the place where you would go and handle installations of the engine, though. So creating, again, is really easy. You just hit the create button, set your name, your project path, pick your render, and hit create, and now you will have a blank project. For time's sake, I have already done that. This is an empty project where I've done nothing in it yet. And to get started, we just need to make a new 3D scene. And we get in Godot a node. So Godot is similar to Unity in the sense that you have to have an object that lives in a scene that has a script for us to see that behavior run. So in this case, it's not a game object, it's a node, but we can add the script directly to it. And we'll do that over here in this section by adding a new script. So we'll do that. We'll call this, I don't remember what I called it before. I think I called it console writer. And one thing to call out is a lot of times it'll default to GD script. You'll just want to make sure that your scripts are set to C sharp. And then we can create this new file. And we can see it down in the hierarchy over here. It created console writer and it attached it to the node. And now what we want to do is Godot's version of start, which is actually ready, but it behaves the same way. When the object loads in the scene, it'll run one time. And to do that, we can override. Oh, let's get the IntelliSense. There we go. Ready. Well, did that to me earlier today too. And we can do GD print hello worlds and save that. Come over to Godot, push play. Now, this message, it only shows up one time. It's basically saying, hey, you're pushing play, but I don't know what scene to run. What do you want to do? And we're just going to set it to the current scene that's open. And we'll save that scene so that it can actually have a reference. Perfect. And down here, we can see, once again, hello world. All right, that's it. That is a super quick tour of some of the things that you can build using .NET. We looked at console apps, websites, native applications, and games. There is so much more that you can build. So thank you for hanging out with us and go make something awesome.
Thank you so much, Stacy, for sharing so much about .NET. And yeah, .NET is for everyone, whether you're a Windows user, Mac user, or whatever. Like, it is for everyone. And thank you so much for sharing that.
Exactly. And that's the power of .NET, folks. You can run everywhere, whatever you want it. It's open source, it is free, and you have freedom with it. So if you want to download the SDK to explore .NET, please download here. The link will be here somewhere. So you can actually go and download it and play with it a little. But if you don't know how to use it, don't worry. That's why you're going to have our next sessions. And here is another one. Hey folks, welcome to this presentation. I'm the host of the .NET Conf Student Zone, but doesn't mean I cannot present anything, right? It's a big pleasure to have you here to learn about the CLI. But I'm not alone. I'm with a friend. Hey, Hannah.
Hi, Pablo. How are you doing?
I'm doing incredibly well. Thank you so much for being here. And wow, I cannot wait to show you this. We're gonna do this presentation about CLI being fun, which is a thing that I know a lot of students are scared about because, oh no, the command prompt, it's a new thing, right? Especially when we are starting because when I use computers, usually we do a lot of UI, right? Everything is clickable, everything is nice. But then you have to deal with this new reality. Hemna, do you had to face some hurdles before learning to use the command prompt?
Um, no.
No, you learned right away, right?
Yes.
You see, folks, that's why she's a student ambassador. She's amazing. So, right here, we have this presentation about the CLI equals fun, which is how to learn the CLI the easy way. So, who are we? I am Pablo Lopez. I am a cloud advocate at Microsoft. I deal with .NET and AI, product teams. I do lots of my stuff. A lot of some documentations even read, right? So it's an incredible way to learn much more about things, and I'm so happy to be part of this community. And Hamna, you go.
Okay, so thank you, Pablo. So I'm Hamna Khalid, and I'm a Gold Microsoft Learner Ambassador from Pakistan. And I have been serving this Microsoft student community for the last 2 years. And today I'm here with Pablo to discuss about .NET 10 release. So, yep, Pablo.
Yeah, so we're gonna use here net 9, but you're gonna use net 10. Now, what the new SDK, .NET 10 is incredibly fast, incredibly strong. But the CLI works anywhere, everywhere, easy and fast. But before we go, let's look what we're gonna take a look here. So we have here the CLI, the .NET CLI, why to learn the CLI, well, to get started, and then the multiple things running and building, live updates, user secrets, and much, much more. So I want you to imagine this.
Mhm.
You'll get tired. Like you're a student, you were applying for multiple jobs, you did multiple interviews, you did a lot of things, and congratulations, you're an intern. Now you're going to join your favorite company that you were doing for a long time. But we have an issue here.
Mhm.
And you may ask, what is the issue? The things we do in university, in college, are usually so different than we do in work that we have a big shock. That gives us that girl that joined that big company. So 9 a.m. is your first day. You are excited to do things now, work your first time doing amazing stuff. Then 9:13, you have your first group meeting, right? The manager is going to introduce you to the team. You're gonna be there, and they want to know more about you. They want to understand what you're doing and what you built, what you're doing, what you plan with this internship, right? They are really excited to you as well, and yeah, I'm so excited to join that. But then you have an issue. They say something like, "Okay, we want you to give you a task, and this task will be about to build the program. It's just a simple command prompt. You don't need to worry about it. It's fine. It should be chill. Be very easy and quick. Well, what is a build server? And then they talk. Then you ask for a teammate about this a build thing. What does a build command mean? And then he tries to explain you. Oh, it's you know that we are a Linux shop, right? They're gonna say something like it. They say, What do you mean about Linux shop? Oh, we don't have any of the classic things here. You're gonna build on our machine on a different machine. Is a VM. You're gonna have no nothing. It's just to be the CLI. Okay, now you use Visual Studio for a long time, Visual Studio community. You did a lot of things with Visual Studio Code a little bit, but never did with .NET. You just did .NET with Visual Studio. But no, there is no way. You are lost because you have to deal with these command things and you never dealt with them. And then now you have to build this on a server thing which has commands on it and you have no clue. Oh no, what do you do, right? So then you need to have this command line, right? You need somewhere to interface with that. So you need to
Mhm.
go with .NET. Oh, no, Hamna.
No, no, I'm not want to say anything. Just go on.
Oh, gotcha. Let's go with the CLI now. Let's see what we have here on this amazing .NET CLI. So, what is this .NET CLI that I'm talking about, right? CLI means command line interface, right? It's the way that you can interact with something through the command line itself. So you're gonna do this with .NET development, right? So if I'm doing development of that, I probably installed something on my computer, and you did. And if you're doing that, you're installing the SDK, right? You're doing installation, and then you're gonna use by the SDK. With the CLI, you can do everything that requires for a .NET developer. You can create, build, run, manage. You can install packages in the .NET ecosystem. So everything on the .NET that you need to do, you can do it right away with the CLI. It works on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, and provides every foundations that we need for .NET. So any tool that you see that uses .NET, so imagine that you use Visual Studio or using third-party tools. Usually they use a lot of the tooling on .NET, on this CLI, on those CLI commands and the interface of it. Okay, but let's learn it. So you may ask, okay, why I need to learn this, right? And the thing is, you're gonna probably want to become a professional. So we need to understand what is actually happening, right? So imagine that you run .NET Run. What does it do? How it works? What is the process that I need to go from like code to program, right? So understanding the steps can help you debug issues, to understand what is going on with that, and deliver great results. Work anywhere from any machine. So you can just work from like VMs, you can interface everywhere. So that's the power of the terminal, right? It makes much easier to be local, remote, anywhere, any machine you can run .NET. Every job mentions it. So every job that requires that usually requires some knowledge on the command line interface. So a lot of jobs actually say, "Hey, it's good that you have some domain knowledge on this," and just not click on the UI itself, but understand what is going deep behind it. And it actually, is a little bit of requirement to understand a little bit of the CLI. And if you want to use Visual Studio Code, you have to learn the CLI because a lot of the commands that we do are mostly CLI based on Visual Studio Code. So truly recommend you to learn it, if especially if you don't want to use Visual Studio, want to use something more, light and fast. And the good part is that you can automate a lot of things. You can automate functions to auto rebuild. You can create tools. You can do cron jobs with it. You can do so many things that actually helps you to automate, create, transform those tools and help when anything breaks. So imagine that you're, responsible for a CI pipeline, a continuous integration pipeline in your new company. Learning this makes it much easier to test and deliver quality results with the general product and everything you need. So, what is the timeline of a dev means with that? You start clicking buttons on Visual Studio, then you understand what these buttons do, then you write .NET automation scripts, and then you go and help debug pipelines on your job. But today is the day that you start this journey. Let's get started then. I'm talking way too much. I'm just showing things, I'm showing pretty slides, but it doesn't mean that it works like that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do a very basic console app. So we're gonna do a console app, we're gonna edit in text editors, we're gonna not use zero autocomplete. And people are asking, oh, you can use AI. Absolutely. AI is an incredible way to be quicker and faster. But AI doesn't replace human knowledge. Because remember, it's a co-pilot. No, it's not your pilot. It means that, sure, agented code is amazing. But remember, we are responsible for your code, which means that it's good for you to have knowledge of it and, write a little. I always recommend to folks to write a little bit with text editors as well because it takes out a lot and you can just focus on that. You're gonna explore the projecting structure, and I'm gonna show you one thing. Code is just a bunch of text files, which people sometimes do not believe because they have like different types like C or this or that. But I gonna give you reminders what really those files are. Let's get started. Let me open here my amazing, incredible, my home. I love when this books out like this. Thank you. So let me go here to the correct folder. Not this one, this one. I had this open and I closed. I don't know why. That's fine. It happens. There you go. So you can see this is my folder. I have my projects folder. And man, oh my God, is that empty, right? I have nothing on it. So I need a way to do something with it. So I gonna here open in terminal. This is in Portuguese. And then I have this amazing thing. And if you do like ls, nothing. Zero. Nothing. I have zero things here. Nothing. So I need to do .NET. Let's see if this is installed. And you can see, yes, we have options here. We can get like .NET help dash H. And you can see here that I have options on the SDK, some commands, etc. But I'm gonna do a very basic hello world, right? Because if you are learning anything about it, you need to do a hello world. So let's do .NET Neo, which has templates, and you can choose templates, whatever templates you want. They have it here easily. So .NET Neo console. I'm gonna choose this type of project. It's a console, which means it'll be a very simple project. Then this thing here, this flag, N, which means the name of it, and I'm gonna call this Hello World. Then let's run. And then you see they create a new folder, and then boom, they call this restore. Then you can command, you can go to folder to folder. You can go cd, change directory, and let's go to Hello World. Then list, and then we have those things here. From here, I prefer to us to go to a more UI based thing because it becomes much easier to show you. So we have those three things here. We have Hello World dot CS proj, this CS, which is program.cs, and have this OBJ thing here. Let's evaluate what those things are. So let's go with my notepad. Yes, I'm gonna use, and you can see in Portuguese, so it says blocos de notas. But I'm gonna go here to my notepad,
Okay.
and let's go here to my files. So you can see right here, I have open, and it says here text documents, txt. But here's the thing about coding. People think that coding is this new crazy thing that you need to do things and be crazy and oh my god, those no, those files are just text ones, but they have those types to make easier to recognize which program I open with this with, right? But if I open here like program.cs, I have this. I have the same thing that Visual Studio has, the Visual Studio Code has, which is it opens and recognizes, say, hey, console line, right line, hello world. And I can even open here more files. So let me open, and then I'm gonna pick here all types, the CS proj. And I want you to see this. Folks, this is just XML. That's it. This is just saying what it's trying to do. So I don't worry, I'm not explain deeply what the how it works, but I want you to understand that it goes and changes. So here I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna output an exe. I'm gonna compile this to this format, and here I'm using net9. Okay, this looks good. But let's try something new, right? So, okay, it seems that it's working. I have those crazy things here, but I don't know if this works, right? I did not just generate a bunch of crazy things. So, what can I do here? I can go .NET, right? Then I can have .NET build. It is compiling now and done. So if you do .NET Run, for example, if you like a .NET Run, what does actually it does differently, right? Because if I do .NET Run here, hello world. And what is the difference between this and that? So when you run something, you are building, compiling, and running. But if I just build, I just generate both the DLL and the exe files, basically. That, of course, it's just not that, but these are parts of it. And what is the difference between those, right? So the DLL is basically how I access like libraries. If I gonna put a library here, it's going to generate DLL. But imagine that I'm trying to access something from this my program. Then I'm gonna need to put this right there. But the exe is just an executable. I can run right away. I cannot worry about it. I don't need to put that in another program. No. And to show you that, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to cd to bin, great. Then I'm gonna have debug. Then I'm gonna have net9. And then I ls, you can see that I have this. Those things right there. So we don't need to know about each one, like even though I explained a little bit, but I can just go hello world, in exe. And if I run it, boom, it just runs hello world. It's the same thing, right? But you see, we have differences in it. And if you can see, you have this. There's a debugging point. This is useful to understand, like, if I'm putting any stops, if I have any issues, it helps me debug. So those three are very important, but you can see, I just run this and then hello world. Okay, it's in the program, right? There's nothing special, but just to show that it works as usual in understanding like these small bibs and bobs of .NET. Let's go back here to the slides and show you both .NET Build and .NET Run. Oh, it's just saying .NET Build and Run. Because then, okay, we did Hello World, right? I mean, we solved that guy's problem, right? The guy from... Not exactly. Because imagine then I try to build something and I get a package missing. And I say, what? What? Okay, so I need to debug an issue now. And I need to do it fast. What do you do? So you can go here with live updates and packages with .NET. So what does live updates means? If you know, folks, is the hot reload, right? Is the way that it goes boom and it go reloads every time it detects changes and anything that is missing, right? So it helps us to monitor files for changes. It automatically rebuilds and reruns. It has a very fast feedback loop and has a very better developer experience, right? Because then you can iterate faster, you can know if everything is working, and it monitors for you instead of like us doing that every single time. Imagine that you do a change and then have to .NET build, .NET run, .NET build, .NET run, .NET run, .NET run. Run does build as well. But if you do that a bunch of times, right, you don't need to do this. It helps you a lot. So let's do a modification with this. We're gonna now put a watch. Will be .NET watch run. Let's go back to our incredible CLI and my command prompt line here. Let's open here my Explorer and do this. Sounds good. So now we are back on here and let's do this. .NET watch run. Okay, so now you see this. Hot reload started. For piece of edits, please do this. So here it's saying right here that I build the project the first time, and then I build it. And then it puts here the hello world and an exit, right? Because then we finish the execution. And then before it's doing anything again, it waits for something to restart or reset or anything like it, right? So because of it, we can just do a small change. So, I'm gonna say today something about this. So you can even see here on .NET right now is that we now don't we it's not necessary for you to do all that program um, classes, main functions, nothing. You can run it like a very simple, easy way to run. Just write the things you want and then just press run. So our sequential, we have nothing other than console line, right line. Let's add a new one. So let's go console, right line, and let's test a library. So I gotta give this, and let's do hello .NET Conf. The the time is, and then let's open here this curly bracelets, which allows us to put variables very easily. And then let's put a date time now. Closing the bracelets, exclamation mark. Then let's close here our string. Let's close here our parameter, and let's end line. That's actually a very good way to think about anything. So you have here a thing you're writing, then you have like the parameter you're passing to this, and then you're finishing your line. So that's actually a very nice way to think about things. Then we're gonna just Control S to save, and let's look on our terminal here. So I detected that it changed, right? So I'm building again. So build and do anything. By the way, Hemna, do you have any comments on that?
I think it's very easy. Whatever you're doing, it's very easy to follow, even for a beginner who don't know much about these things. So it's very easy peasy.
You know, it is a very nice way, right, to do things. It just goes and does a lot of things for you. It's really nice. Oh, folks, so sorry. I forgot to scroll down. That's why, well, I think, oh, it's this build is taking a while. No, it was fast. It's just that I forgot to scroll down. My fault. At least I recorded, right? We are recording actually demos that we're doing. So here you can say, hello world and hello.net conf. Hello. The time is this. This is the day. This is the time. So you can see here we're recording like 14 days before .NET comes to the zone, and it's done. So it's incredible what it does, right? We can do this easily and very fast.
Yep.
And okay, let's quit watch mode. I don't want to be watched anymore. Stop watching my files. Fine, thank you. So wow, that was fun. But now I know how to change the files and do the hot reload. The thing is, I need to debug. We're missing files. How does that work? So here we have NuGet. And if you don't know what NuGet is, of course, I know a lot of you folks do because you folks are very smart and awesome. But NuGet, it is the fast way to create .NET apps. It is our package manager for everything on .NET. And even if you click here on packages, and it does a lot of things right here. We have here the Newton soft, but they're gonna use the system tax JSON this time. This one, that's one they're gonna use. But you can see that we have multiple things here. We have here all the package dependencies, .NET tools, templates, and even for the AI savvy, MCP servers. Exactly. NuGet has MCP servers as well to make it easy to do MCP servers and connect everywhere with AI. But of course, we are focusing here on very, you're starting your journey with the CLI. So we have this, right? Okay, so I find a problem now. I need to add, I cannot use the NuGet packet manager from Visual Studio. How I do that? So then you're gonna, okay, let's go with this system text JSON. And you can see here, there you go. You just do copy and paste this. So .NET and package your package. And that's it. Of course, I'm gonna not use the pre-release version. I'm gonna use the current release version, but this version is actually really good. But let's go back to our program. Well, let's go back to our slides just to show you in a bigger way the command. So this is what you're gonna do. So you're gonna do .NET add package and the package name. No. By the way, be careful with the package name. Trust that you copying the correct one and put inside of the thing you want to do, you want to build, etc. So that's the way you're gonna do that. So let's go and take a look on our packages. Right here, we are back again to this. Hello. So what we're doing here, we need to install here now a JSON thing, right? We need to do that. So let's do this .NET add package. Oh, no, not of that. Add package, and then let's add system dot text dot JSON. Enter. So then I will install and do this. So what this is doing, right? We are getting everything from like NuGet. We are basically downloading it and putting into our project. And it verifies automatically for us if everything is compatible and then adds to our file. And if we go here to the CS proj, hello, we have this new thing here. This is an item group, and the item group here is actually saying item groups can refer to multiple things, but in this case, we are doing a package reference to include in our builds this thing here, which is our text JSON, and with this version. Okay, so how I make use of a package? I mean, it is very classic, is the same as all languages, right? So you can use from, etc., but you're gonna just using very simple, very classic. Then you're gonna do system of text dot JSON and line. And then we're gonna create a new person. So let's do for person. Hannah, do you want to tell me what person you want to create?
Um, like Bruno.
Bruno. Let's do Bruno. Bruno is the speaker that you probably is going to be both in .NET Conf and .NET Conf Citizen. He is our one of biggest AI specialists we have on our group, and it's so amazing. So let's do Bruno. So Bruno Capuano. So doing Bruno, let's do the role then. Bruno is a principal. He is so fancy. Principal cloud advocate. And then what conference he is presenting? Of course, he is presenting in .NET Conf. In NetConf student zone. Okay, so remember what you did. We close here this parameters, so now we need to close this thing here, and then I need to end line. All right, folks, we did it. We wrote it. But now I want to serialize this. I want to like pick this and transform it this out in string. How we do this? Then we're gonna use all the functions of text.json, which is this. You're gonna do string JSON equals to JSON serializer dot serialize. I hope I wrote that correctly. First, my incredible Bruno, variable past and line. Then console right line. And then again, just pass here the variable. That's it. Okay, now it's not hello world anymore. It's just like, let's serialize Bruno. We got Bruno's information. Let's now choose serialize it. So .NET run. If I get an error here, it's going to point me right away. But it did not. It just gave Bruno Capuano. Wow, Bruno is so fancy, man. Principal Cloud Advocate. Wow. So that's great. But imagine that I want to know the list of files. Like I want to know the list of the packages that we have here. So if you have any issues with the packages and anything that you may have, you need to take a look and check this out. So what we do here is just run this very simple command, which is a .NET list package. And you're gonna take it and say, hey, hello, this is the package that you have. And you can see how amazing this is, right? If you have some issues, some that you have here the request and the resolved, and people ask why this happens, because sometimes it needs to downgrade to a resolve package for conflicts, etc. So that's a very nice thing to have in your bucket book, right? You never know when you have some necessities. Hey, Hemna, do you love to put Bruno here, like our amazing Bruno Capuano, on this presentation?
Yeah, his name just randomly came in my mind, so I just call her Bruno.
Yeah, gotcha. Love you, Bruno. Let's go now with this. Now we need to know about our user secrets. So here's the thing. You're in a big company now, serious business. And you cannot just put your API keys on code. They said, please do not hard code secrets. And you don't get it. Say, what do you mean? Like, what does hard code secrets means? You cannot put the API keys on your code. You never should do that. You need to do a user secret to your server. And you're asking, how does that work? And let's see a little bit the good thing about user secrets is that allows you to put like tiny secret things like imagine you have API keys, credentials, etc. into place somewhere secure, right? And it's very important for security is a capability to know to have delivered good not only good results, but to maintain the admin safe, to not leak keys, secrets leak usually lead to big problems. Like the minimum of them usually is just someone finding that you have an API key and spending like resources from the company, from cloud providers, etc. But the worst of it is, you know, sometimes it's even identity theft. So be very careful with that. So usually is going to lead to those big problems. And it is so easy to add that it helps you if you're developing the experience. It's nicer, it's fast, it's so easy that you don't need to worry about it. You just put some lines on the CLI and it's done. So let's take a look on .NET user secrets. Let's go back here to our amazing PowerShell with our amazing files and our amazing Notepad. So right now, I need to do a user secret for this project. So imagine that I need to put a super API key for .NET Conf. .NET Conf needs a very special API key. So right away, what we need to do is initialize that. We need to initialize something for it where to point, right? Because I need to store this anywhere somewhere, right? So let's go with .NET right now. And then let's go with user secrets in it. Then it's going to create this ID for this project. So it is putting somewhere safe on my computer to it access only from this. And if you see the CS proj, look who's here. The user secrets ID. It is